Hey, how's it going? Derek Brown here with Focus 25 Productions. Hope you liked that little cinematic teaser intro there, that video. That was from our vacation here we just took in South Dakota, the Black Hills area out by Mount Rushmore. If you like that little cinematic segment, stick around. There's a few more of those throughout this video. Mostly this video is just kind of for keepsake remnants for us to look back on and show our twin girls when they're here that we did take them while they were in the womb. But there will be a few different sections that aren't just our regular vacation videos. It'll be kind of some cinematic little segments, hopefully fun to watch. I like the video, but of course it was our vacation. But if you like to watch the cinematic sequences, check out the rest of this video. There's some pretty cool shots, some drone footage, which is pretty new to me. There's also some pretty good information just about South Dakota and the Black Hills area if you haven't been and are looking to go or wanting to go, or maybe you've been and there's some areas that you didn't explore that we did. Either way, I think it should be a pretty fun video and so hopefully some pretty well edited cinematic sequences. So check it out. Hope you enjoy it. Well, we're sitting here night one of our vacation through South Dakota, and we are in Mitchell, South Dakota, right off I-90. We stopped at a KOA here that we had planned on, so we did a little over half our travel today, Saturday, and tomorrow we'll finish it out getting into Custer and the Black Hills area. Got the camper set up, you can see here right behind me. Got everything hooked up. We did disconnect the car just because we were running into town. We grabbed some food, explored downtown Mitchell. Downtown Mitchell, South Dakota was actually really cool. There was a little kind of a old town strip with some shops and places to pick up some souvenirs, a lot of food places, dessert places, ice cream. And then downtown they have what they call the Corn Palace. It's supposedly the world's only corn palace, and it has they use corn cobs and they make murals on the outside of it and on the inside of it. And every year they have a different theme and they change the theme. And all the way down that main Old Town strip, they have these banners hanging from every year or different years what they had for the theme and the pictures. And since like the late 1800s, that Corn Palace has been standing, and they've been modeling it for different themes and different murals and stuff. And it was just a really cool stop. Corn Palace, the KOA, Mitchell, South Dakota. It's a great place to stay, great place to stop through if you need somewhere to stop. And tomorrow morning early, we'll be hooking the truck back up to the camper, getting everything, the few things we had unloaded tonight, loaded back up. We'll be hitting the road. Really excited to get to the Black Hills and mainly to our spot at the Roost Resort and just outside of Custer, South Dakota. Based on what we kind of know with our reservation, our spot and our view should be pretty awesome. So just looking forward to getting loaded up in the morning, getting on the road. We'll have almost 5 hours left, and then having a week full of adventure that hopefully you guys will be watching. Morning 2, we hit the road, had about 5 hours left, headed across I-90 to get to our destination. On I-90 there are just a lot of really cool and unique things to stop and see. One of them being this dignity statue that overlooks the Missouri River. The main thing that you will see hundreds of signs for headed across I-90 is Wall Drugstore. Wall Drugstore became very popular throughout all of the 1900s for giving out free water and 5-cent coffee to travelers heading east and west on I-90. Now it's grown into just this huge stop and attraction. It has indoor shops and a little mall area with all different types of gifts and stores. It has a restaurant, it has desserts, it still has your 5-cent coffee and your free water. It has a big backyard area for kids to play in with little attractions and a little splash zone, and it's a really cool stop. It's worth it to take a break off of I-90, grab some food, grab some gifts, recharge your batteries a little bit, and then continue on your way. When we left Wall Drug and Wall, South Dakota, we had just the last little bit of our trip left, heading west. We got into the Black Hills and Rapid City, and then turned south and got down into the Mount Rushmore, Black Hills area, and got into Custer, South Dakota, which is where we were going to be staying for the week. And when we pulled into the Roost Resort, just on the edge of Custer, South Dakota, this is the campsite and the views that were waiting for us. first morning at our destination. We decided to do Mount Rushmore this morning. Didn't get here at sunrise. We left our camp area right at about sunrise or a few minutes after. There is like no one here right now, which is awesome. So let's go check this out. Let you know how it is. When we finished at Mount Rushmore on day one, it was still mid-morning, so we headed on over to Hill City. Hill City is a pretty small community in the Black Hills area close to Mount Rushmore, but it was honestly maybe our favorite. We spent a couple hours here. We had breakfast and lunch, and in between we walked the strip, checked out all their shops, and got a few souvenirs at some of the gift stores there. The rest of the day we kind of just hung out and relaxed until that evening, and then we headed over and checked out Crazy Horse. There's a lot to say about Crazy Horse that I'm not going to get into in this video, but if you're in the area, I highly recommend you go see it, pay to do the bus tour up to its base, and just learn all there is to know about this area and this monument. And there's just a lot of history there and some really cool facts and information, and I look forward in the future to seeing this project being completed. Hi, bud. Hey, buddy. Hi, guy. He's big.
I don't have anything. I just want to touch you. I don't have anything.
After sightseeing exploring for the day at Custer State Park on Wildlife Loop Road and then on to Wind Cave National Park, we went back to our campsite and got ready for the evening. We found a place for dinner just inside the entrance for Custer State Park at Legion Lake Lodge overlooking Legion Lake, and then we went back to an even closer and bigger lake, Stockade Lake, and that gave us a awesome place to take a few more maternity photos. And while doing so, we got to view a very beautiful sunset over the water. And that wrapped up day 2 of our trip in the Black Hills. Day 3 of our South Dakota trip was one of our longest and busiest days. We took off in the morning about an hour north into Spearfish Canyon. Spearfish Canyon has lots to see and do as you're driving along the scenic Spearfish Canyon Highway. Our first main stop in Spearfish Canyon was at Rough Lock Falls. While there is a longer trail, about a mile plus, that you can hike here, we chose to just drive on up closer to where the falls themselves were at and walk the short little path down to the base of the falls, since we knew we had such a busy day ahead of us. After leaving the Rough Lock Falls area, we headed up further north on the Spearfish Canyon Highway towards our main destination of the day, the trail and hike that would take us to the Devil's Bathtub. We are on the second real stop of the day. We stopped and saw Rough Lock Falls right when we got into Spearfish Canyon on the scenic byway drive. And now we are just hitting the trail to the Devil's Bathtub. So it's a good little trail. It crosses the stream a few times, which we're doing right now. And then you end up in the Devil's Bathtub and you can swim and go down the natural slide, which we'll check out here pretty quick. Working our way along the path to Devil's Bathtub. We've had, I don't know, at least 10 crossings to the stream. This area has been one of the coolest for sure. Underneath this huge rock shelf, you can see how the water has just smoothed out the rock. So it makes it super smooth, but also pretty slick. But that's just going to allow us to go down the rock slide here in just a little bit.
Come on, you got it. You gotta go. Just sit down.
Probably gonna be a little cold. Definitely a little wet. A little colder than I thought it was gonna be. We are headed back from Devil's Bathtub. It's a nice little hike, not too strenuous, just lots of stream crossings and slippery rocks and mossy rocks in areas, but really pretty hike. I took the plunge. See the video if you haven't already. And it's a good time. The water's a little chilly, but refreshing on a warm day. Hi, babe. After completing our little hike and adventure at Devil's Bathtub, we made our way just a little bit further north into the town of Spearfish to grab some lunch. From there, we worked our way over to historic Deadwood. Deadwood, South Dakota is pretty famous from its Wild West days and has a lot of history. While it was just kind of a pit stop for us to see while passing through, there are probably a few days worth of things to see and do in this small city. The historic Main Street strip has a ton going on, and we drove through it a couple of times. There are a lot of shops and places to eat, and a lot of old-time Western saloon-style bars and places to experience. Another thing that is really cool and popular to visit in Deadwood, South Dakota is their cemetery that houses Wild Bill and Calamity Jane. Not only is this just a cool piece of history from the Wild West days to check out, but it also has some really great views overlooking Deadwood and the area. Before leaving Deadwood, we made one final stop at Chubby Chipmunk for some of their famous chocolates and truffles. From here, we headed south down into Rapid City. Our first stop in Rapid City was at Chapel in the Hills. This little chapel in Rapid City is an all-wood structure built as an exact replica of one in Norway. There's a lot of history and reasons as to why the chapel is there and how it got its start, and if you're in the area, it's a cool place to stop and visit and relax for a little bit. Once we finished at Chapel in the Hills, we stopped at a little Indian restaurant called Everest Cuisine that we had seen and heard about and had a really nice dinner. From there, we started working our way back towards Custer and our campsite, and on the way we stopped and had our nighttime viewing of Mount Rushmore, which you've already seen earlier in this video. Once we got back to the campsite, it was lights out as we were both tired, and that concluded day 3 of our South Dakota adventures. Day 4 of our adventures in the Black Hills was maybe my favorite and the one that I was most looking forward to headed into the trip. We began the day in the morning driving the very scenic and popular Needles Highway, taking in all of its views and sights. Some of the most popular features of the Needles Highway are its tunnels that pass through the rock formations on the road, like the one you'll see here at Needles Eye Tunnel. Our drive along Needles Highway led us to the Cathedral Spires Trail, which is a hike that we did that gets you right in the middle of all the needle and spire rock formations, which is a very unique and beautiful feature of this area. When we finished our hike at the Cathedral Spires, we took Needles Highway back to spend some time at the very popular Sylvan Lake, which also happens to be featured in the movie National Treasure 2. It is our last day in South Dakota and Custer State Park, so it's a pretty easy day. We're just taking a little scenic drive on Iron Mountain Road. We're gonna go spend a little bit of time in Keystone. We've driven through there a few times, but gonna go walk a few shops, get some breakfast or lunch, and then just hang out and take it easy the rest of the day. Driving Iron Mountain Road was a really cool drive, and I'm glad we saved it for the end of the week actually. It has some really cool views of Mount Rushmore, some of the only views you can see from a distance, but I think it maybe would have ruined the initial Mount Rushmore experience had we seen those first, because the first time we saw it was when we were pulling into the parking lot and it was right there in front of it. So I definitely recommend doing the Iron Mountain Road drive. I definitely think you should take it north so that you're facing Mount Rushmore to get those views, and I think you should probably do it after you've already been to and seen Mount Rushmore up close. This drive led us back into Keystone, this time for us to actually enjoy what it had to offer. Besides just walking the shops and buying some gifts, we ate both breakfast and lunch in Keystone, beginning with a nice little coffee shop with cool views across from an adventure place. is also right next to a miniature golf course that we decided we needed to take on as well.
Straight on.
I hope so.
I told him he should go.
Well, it is Saturday. It is our day to head home. Today and tomorrow we'll be headed back, but it's not the end of our sights because we have not done Badlands National Park. Look on top of there's a goat up there, or a dog or something. Anyway, sorry, there's an animal up there. Today is our trip home. We're stopping here at Badlands National Park, just driving through, seeing all the scenic looks, and we're going to do the notch trail with the ladder and just check out the door and window trail also. So you'll be seeing some hopefully pretty awesome video and pictures right now from Badlands National Park. Hey, hope you enjoyed that video, whether you watched the whole thing or just the cinematic segments that I had tagged. I know it's a pretty long video, but like I said, most of it's just keepsake for us to look back on and maybe show the girls eventually. But whatever parts or whole thing that you watched, hope you enjoyed it, and hope to have more coming to you soon. Thanks.